personnel, HR. Why don't we combine that? Mary, do you have anything under personnel?
The only thing that would be personnel relates to the position of library director.
Okay, that's ad hoc library director. Cross that off from the agenda and let's move it to Mr. Flemmis. Oh, wait, opposite. We're going to call you personnel now, not HR.
Gotcha.
Okay, got it.
I've made the swap in my mind already.
I haven't yet, obviously, but I'm working on it. Okay.
Okay, at the last board meeting, the HR committee, personnel committee, was charged with finding a recommendation regarding retirement medical benefits and our retiring director. It was very much discussed regarding Les's work and what his recommendation was regarding this. Rich did some fine work in analysis of other libraries, and it looked like all that was done and said to the board that we didn't have a policy. So what we did was we went and immediately searched our personnel records policies and found that we do indeed have a retirement medical policy. That policy is the option to purchase medical benefits at the discounted NHPL rate. We took despite that, I sent out emails to everybody regarding here's the policy. We sent out about a systematic approach to finding a recommendation for the board. Try not to leave any stone unturned, and we solicited input from all the board members regarding why we would deviate from policy, what were the reasons. We got some response from Mr. Wilder, who was adamantly opposed, and Mr. Klein, who I recognized that it was a difficult question, and that possibly there were some answers out there with the new federal medical laws going into effect. All right, we took Rich's stuff, we took the input from the board, we took the policy, and we met for the first time, and we discussed it all. We then decided that we needed some more information before we made a recommendation, and it was my charge to solicit some input from people who might know the answers to the questions.
And you're speaking, just for clarification here, you're not speaking about revamping the policy, you're speaking about applying the policy to a particular individual right now. You're switching to that discussion.
Well, that was the recommendation. That was what we were charged to do.
Right, no, I understand.
Right, exactly.
Because I just want to make it clear that before we discuss the policy as it applies to a particular individual, namely our retired executive director, it is probably appropriate that we go into executive session.
Oh.
So at such point as you are ready to discuss Mr. Plumbach as it relates to this policy, we need to get a motion for executive session.
Linda, I would like to stress again before the board that it's not a mandate.
I understand that's your position. I understand that.
When we spend monies, public funds,
we're not spending any. We're not going to spend any money, and we're not going to vote to spend any money in executive session.
What specifically are we doing then?
We're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing a policy as it applies to a particular individual. It's a personnel matter. I understand you disagree. I understand that. You've made it loud and clear.
I think, ma'am, I think that I can get through our recommendation without that kind of discussion that might be appropriate for after that, you know what I mean?
Okay, because I'm not going to sit here and have a discussion about Hans's performance, about Hans's anything in public forum. No. I am not going to do it.
This is not part of our recommendation
fine. Then if you keep going, and if I feel that you are getting into executive privilege area, then we'll stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So far, you're fine.
Okay. All right, thanks. So we took the other information that we deemed necessary, and again met for a second time, and the consensus after a positional discussion, the consensus of the board, Les unfortunately was out and could not be contacted, so there's really three of us that went through this process from start to finish. And the consensus of the three, put the work in was that the policies is the policy, and the recommendation is that we allow the retiring director to purchase medical benefits at a discounted library rate.
And you're saying that that was the recommendation of?
That's the consensus of the three.
Of the three?
Yes, yes. It's in the report. Heather and I.
Because I read something quite different from Mr. Evans.
Yes,
So-
yes. Heather and I agree that.
Oh, so consensus was?
Yes.
Okay, so you agree, as I understand it, the two of you recommend that the policy not be deviated. Is that what I'm hearing?
At this point, because as Ed mentioned, he went and looked for information. Why do we want to deviate from it? And he could not get anything responded back to him as to why we want to deviate from it.
Okay, so now we're discussing the particular individual and perhaps reasons for deviation. Yes,
Well,
sir.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
We are deviating from a policy that is somewhere in his bylaws?
Page 17. No, in personnel policy, I sent it to you. It's our personnel policy, page 17.
Here you go, Les, here's a copy of it.
Okay, great. Did you send 1 through 16 also?
Yes, I did.
It's in my memo.
Actually, I sent 1 through 30.
Really? I'll look for it.
It's there.
When?
Les, I've sent you at least 10 emails since you've been gone.
Yeah. That's it. I got 490 I'm working on.
Yeah, yes. So,
380 from
so
you.
sometime between.
Okay, all right, guys, we got a lot to do.
So, yeah, so that's it.
Okay, and the one thing I think, I know you asked of me, and I think the committee was interested in hearing, is what discussions have been held, what were expectations, were any promises made, those types of things which were important for you to know.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Les was not available. He is the one that was charged with having those discussions with Mr. Plumbach. So at this point, I would say it's probably appropriate to go into executive session to get those
But I just want to
discussions.
mention, on behalf of both of us, we came to that recommendation based on limited information.
I understand, Heather, and I apologize for that.
That's all right, no, and just so
But
you know,
it
that's
was,
where we were.
we tried to get the information.
Yep.
I thought I knew, and it turned out I didn't know, and what I told to you was correct. But in any event, I would like to hear a motion to go into executive session.
I move that we go into executive
I'll
session.
Second, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in executive